everybody. Welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David, and this is a deck review. Today we're going to look at the Mandolin backs that were produced by Paul Harris. The Mandolin backs are a deck that looks very similar to the 808 deck. This is actually the 809 deck. And the reason why I'm reviewing these is because I've seen some people review the Grimoire deck, and they show the Gaff double backer, and they just comment that it's a two-sided card with the Grimoire design on one side and the Rider back on the other. That's not true. The back side is actually a Mandolin back. And so I just wanted to step in and kind of set the record straight. The Mandolin backs, like I said, were produced by Paul Harris. He was head of development on these 809 decks, and he worked closely with the United States Playing Card Company. Paul worked with a couple of other artists as well, including Garrett Thomas. What they were trying to do was make a back design that was very similar to the standard rider back. And if you look at the standard rider back, you can kind of see some of the similarities. In fact, it's called a mandolin back because the character here in the center is holding an instrument, the mandolin, but the way it's drawn and the way it's designed is shaped to look very much like the front tire of the rider back. You also notice that you have the angels are very similar. The center imagery and even the corners are very similar. What I find is if you show these cards to a regular bystander, they will see very little differences. And in fact, they probably won't even notice that this is not a standard rider back deck. Probably 99% of your lay people won't even recognize this. I think those people that actually study cards and are very familiar with rider backs, they're the only ones probably that'll notice the difference, and even still, it probably won't come right away. If you get the Mandolin deck, it's not going to be that much different than a typical 808 deck. You're still going to get their Ace of Spades, although it'll say 809 at the top, and you will get two standard full-size jokers. Other than that, the deck itself is completely standard faces, standard courts, all the way through, and you get this nice, beautiful back design. The other great thing about the Mandolin back, and the reason what sets it apart a little bit from the 808 deck, is that Richard Turner, who is a magician, he worked really closely with the United States Playing Card Company and made sure that these cards had a superior cut and a superior quality. One of the things that they brag about with this deck is the corners. The corners have a really rounded edge that they say make it perfect for shuffling. Now, you'll have to take my word for it, but if you ever get one of these in your hands, you'll notice that they have an almost perfect faro, and you will quickly see that they're a little bit higher end than just the standard 808s. Another reason why this deck came out, and another reason why this was produced, is because a couple of years ago, the magicians were finding that when they made Gaff cards from the 808 deck, they would get in trouble from Bicycle. They were having their cards printed out by outside vendors, and what they didn't realize was the 808 back design is actually a trademark. It's actually copyrighted. In fact, if you go out and go to print your own deck today, you'll be able to use all of Bike's faces, all of their faces, whether they're pip cards or court cards. But the back design, the Ace of Spades, and the Jokers all belong to the United States Playing Card Company, and you need their permission to reprint them. Well, a couple of years ago, when these magicians were getting in trouble, they decided that they would actually make their own quote-unquote rider-back looking deck so that they could be in control of the copyright as far as making gaffs. In fact, if you go to 809bicycle.com, which is the website for this deck, they will even print you your own gaff card with a mandolin back. You just email them the idea. Of course, you're going to have to pay for it. But it'll give you the opportunity to design your own gaff, and I think they're roughly like 6 cents a card. And I think little did we know back then, when the mandolins were first released, is that bigger companies like Illusionists would kind of sweep in and work directly with the United States Playing Card Company to ensure that gaffs were still available. And I love the fact that it is a similar deck in appearance, and you can certainly do a lot of tricks with it. I know that this deck is available in Svengali and stripper decks and forcing decks. I just don't know that its popularity has caught on. I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of magicians use it. I think when people were afraid that gaffs wouldn't be available in Riderback, I think they kind of jumped the gun in making these, and now, I mean, you can get Riderback gaffs anywhere. It's not that hard, it's not that uncommon. I think the people who collect these decks now are probably the people that appreciate Paul Harris, appreciate the design of these cards and the cut and feel of them, and of course collectors. If you get a chance to pick up a deck of mandolins, I would definitely recommend it. They are beautiful cards, and they, like I said, they do shuffle and play very well. So that's it for this review. As always, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. You can like my Facebook page, and you can also follow me on Twitter. Thanks. Bye.